Hello, it's me again, Claudia Cotter with the Wheat to School program. You are now in Module 3, Growing Your Wheat. So, welcome to Module 3. Make sure to watch this video on YouTube before completing the assigned activities. Let's start with a quick recap of Module 2 and what you will be learning in this module. In this Module 2, I introduce you to establish a Wheat to School roadmap that included a timeline, materials and tools, people to support your program, and the most important part, finding your space to grow your wheat. In this module, you will learn specific information about how to grow your wheat. So with this module, you'll learn to list the different wheat classes and their baking purposes, design a wheat planting space, describe how to plant and grow a small plot of wheat, implement a wheat growing space, and find the wheat garden safety plan. But before I give you information about growing wheat in a school garden, allow me to introduce you to the different wheat classes and color wheats we have in the US. That will make it easier for you to identify what type of wheat to grow in your school garden. So there are 6 classes of wheat. 1, durum wheat. 2, hard red spring or 3, winter wheat. 4, soft red. 5, hard white. And 6, soft white. The main difference between a spring and winter wheat is that spring wheat is planted in the spring and winter wheat is planted in the winter, going dormant during the winter and sprouting in the spring. Durum wheat is often a spring crop. Soft red and soft white wheat can be grown in the winter or spring. If you're in California, you want to grow spring wheat types. However, if you're in North Dakota, you might want to grow winter wheat. One of the most fun parts of growing wheat with children in school gardens is the fact that you can choose and grow different color wheats. For example, you can find yellow bran and endosperm wheat, or a deep red color wheat called charcoal wheat, or another one that has blue bran called blue wheat. These are photos of our last year's school wheat harvest that students grew in Woodland, California. We also use these color wheats to teach students about plant science and breeding. It is a wonderful and educational activity. You will learn where to find our lessons in a different module. But you also should know that each wheat class or type has their own baking or cooking applications. For example, soft white or soft red are used for pastries, cakes, crackers, or flatbreads, while hard white, hard red spring wheat, or winter wheats are used in breads, tortillas, pizza, or rolls. And the very unique and my favorite wheat class is durum wheat because it has a yellow endosperm producing semolina or yellow flour that is used to make pasta in different shapes like spaghetti. Now that we know the different wheat types we can grow, you will need to find a small or large wheat plot in your school garden. Then prepare the soil with your students by removing any weeds and making sure it is clean before planting the wheat. This is definitely a class activity. Using a rake and a shovel, students can move the soil around before adding water to let the soil rest for a few days. You will then go back to remove any weeds and do the planting activity with the students, adding seeds and covering the seed with a light layer of soil. Depending on how big your space is, you want to design your wheat plot to grow different wheat types. Here's an example of a school wheat plot at Shandon Elementary School where they grew 4 different wheat types: durum, soft white, and hard red wheats. The total plot size was 27 feet by 20 feet, separating each wheat type with a space of 2 feet. Here's another example of a wheat garden design at Lillian Larson Elementary in San Miguel, California, of a much larger wheat plot. Students here are growing a plot size of 42 feet by 109 feet, so this is considered a 1/10 of an acre. Again, you can see they're growing 4 wheat types and they're divided by a 2 feet space in between wheat types. Now, if you cannot grow wheat in plots, then you can grow wheat in garden boxes. Here are the steps in pictures from our school, Capi Culver Elementary. Step 1, students add the soil. Step 2, students add seeds and cover the seed with their hands, adding a thin layer of soil. And step 3, students water the soil. Then, in just about 1 or 2 weeks, students will see their seeds sprouting, like in picture 1. Then, after a few weeks, the wheat will grow and it will look like grass, like in picture 2. And after a few months, the wheat will grow and dry, like in picture 3. That means it is ready to be harvested.
Explaining what he's planting
I
and
think one
how.
of the best ways
So I
to
want
learn
us to be
something new
around
is
it
with
so you can
pictures.
pay attention
So
to
I would
him
like to walk you
directive,
through our wheat planting
explaining what
activities
he's
at our
planting
local
and
school
how.
with a series of
So I want us
videos
to be
where you can
around
go
it
on your
so
own
you
and
can
you
pay
can watch
attention to him
small clips
directive,
of each of the
explaining
activities.
what he's planting
So
and
first we
how.
welcome
So I want us
students.
to be around
Then
it
we find
so
a
you
place
can
in the
pay
garden to
attention to
sit down
him
with the students
directive,
and do a mindful
explaining
activity and
what he's
introduction.
planting and how.
This is also
So I
a
want
great
us to be
opportunity for
around
us
it.
educators
Let's
to
pay
explain
attention to him
what we
directive,
usually do in the
explaining
garden and
what
go
he's
over
planting and
garden
how.
safety rules and
So I want us to be
expectations.
around it.
Then
So
we
you can
walk
pay
and gather
attention to
around
him
our garden
directive,
plot.
explaining.
Okay, actually a fertilizer. We're going to plant a variety called Amarillo. It's calibrated and it has dropped just the right amount of seed. Okay, actually a fertilizer. We're going to plant a variety called Amarillo. Calibrated.
So we start by explaining
right
the
amount
wheat
of seed.
type we're planting, and then we show them how to use
We're
the
going to
wheat
plant a
seed
variety
spreader.
called
The
Amarillo.
number of
Calibrated.
seeds we use per
The
square
drop has
feet
just the right
varies
amount of
between
seed.
25 to 30 seeds, and then we show them how to
We're going to
actually
plant
plant
a
the
variety
seed.
called
Remember to go
calibrated.
to the actual CANVA
drop
presentation
just the right
to
amount of
each
yellow
video and watch the process of all these steps.
Okay, this is 1/100th of an acre. So normally somebody would plant perhaps 150 pounds an acre. So if you do the math, you move the decimal point over. So it'd be equivalent of 1.5 pounds to do this whole plot. But we're going to do different varieties, so we've broken it up in smaller amounts. Anyway, this is 1/100th of an acre.
This
So
is a great
normally somebody
opportunity
would
to
plant
teach them about new
perhaps
vocabulary,
150 pounds an
agricultural
acre.
terms, math,
So if
and
you
more.
do the math,
For
you move the
example,
decimal
here we
point
tell them
over,
that
so
often farmers
it'd
use
be
150
equivalent
pounds of
of
seed for 1 acre.
pounds
But this
to
plot
do
is
this whole
1/100th
plot.
of an acre,
But we're
so
gonna
we
do
need
different
1.5
varieties, so
pounds
we've
of
broken
seed.
it up. This is 1.5 pounds. This is how much it takes of all the wheat to go this whole distance. Pardon? This is 1/100th of an acre. An acre is 43,500.
Imagine how much seeds it would take to fill up an acre.
A whole acre would take 150 pounds of seed. This is 1.5 pounds. This is how much it takes of
We
all
give
the
time
wheat
for students to
go
see and
this
touch
whole
the wheat
distance.
seeds and give them time to ask questions, reinforce the information, and clarify anything else about planting the wheat.
This is 1/100.
This slide gives you a concise snapshot of our school wheat plot at Dingo Elementary, from the size to the timeline, the activities we do before planting, the materials, and some important tips. These are photos of the different steps and tools we use for planting the seeds. Last steps of planting, and very important, make sure you cover your seeds and you water the plot to establish the roots. Watering should be more often for the first 2 weeks, like every other day, and then watering can be less often, like every 2 to 4 days. When the plant reaches full maturity and is getting ready for harvest time, you do not water your wheat plant at all. This is more after 6 months. These are videos and photos of planting wheat in one of our larger school wheat plots in Parkville Elementary. You can see kids use the seed spreader and distributor to plant the wheat seed. You can use this template to design your own wheat garden space and plan for the wheat types you want to grow. It is very important that we run our wheat garden program with student safety in mind. This is why we want to provide you with our wheat garden safety plan. Please click in the title of this slide that will take you to the garden safety plan document. You use this as a guide, but there are many other school garden safety plans available you can also use. I know we learn in many different ways. This is why I'm providing you other resources to listen to, read from, and download. The first link is a presentation our garden coordinator and volunteer Alison Bright Rose did to explain more in detail the Dingo Elementary weed garden plot. I highly recommend you to listen to her presentation to learn more details about their successful school weed garden program. Congratulations, you have now completed Module 3. Please click here to this link in the presentation to do your evaluation for Module 3. This will help you and us to assess our progress in this workshop. Thank you and see you in Module 4.